Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast episode of Praise the Run podcast. Praise the Run podcast. That's us. I'm Ben. This is Patrick. Patrick, you're here. I just woke up.
Nice.
That's why I asked you. I was like, well, maybe he just woke up too.
No way.
I don't know.
I could never sleep in. I have so much.
Yeah.
I'm doing stuff all the time. If I slept in, I'd be like, yeah, I'd have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So behind and stuff.
For sure. I woke up at 3 this morning from a nap. And I was like, I definitely need another nap if I'm gonna get in a podcast, and that'd be like, I don't know, probably like noon 30 until when we're finished.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta try to get something in. So I slept for an hour, and then I woke up, and I was like, oh, he hasn't texted yet. I'll get up and start cleaning. And then I waited for like 20 minutes, and then you hadn't messaged yet. I was like, okay, well, I'll message him real quick, see where he's at, just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case. Anyways, it's been a very slow week.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot has happened. It's the calm before the storm.
Right.
Next week is the week. Next weekend is the weekend. For Summer Games Fest and Xbox, and the Switch comes out, and
right.
That's all next weekend. But this week, really nothing has happened. Elden Ring Nightreign comes out today. The reviews are into that. We'll go over some of those reviews. Other than that, we'll go over like a game cancellation. We'll look at The Last of Us Season 2. The reviews are out for that. Finally, I think it's finished. So we'll look at that. I don't know. I don't really care about the TV show as much as the game. Really, we've talked about that before, but
yeah.
I think this season hasn't done as well critically. So we'll take a look at that, see what's up. But other than that, this is a video games podcast. Thank you guys for watching, listening. I was gonna say, I don't remember. Have you played anything?
I actually have got to play a little bit this week just because I'm on like a week break from school.
Oh, really? Yeah. Hell yeah.
So I managed to squeeze like a few hours into some games. I just picked Blasphemous back up, and because I bought it for myself, so I just went ahead and kind of started playing it again and getting back into the
Blasphemous 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I've been doing that. I have like a few hours into that now, and
nice.
It's just a fun little thing.
Yeah. That first like big boss wrecked me so hard last time I played that. I haven't gone back to it. I should. I want to go. I don't know if I want to go back to 1, or now that 2 is out, if I should just skip the first one and go straight to 2. Just because I've heard it plays a little better. See if maybe like some of the speed gets adjusted and stuff like that.
I mean, I haven't had an issue with the. I think there's a lot of like. There's just no move canceling. So, like, You just have to be very careful with, like, you just can't, it's not a button mashing game at all. Like,
no,
it's very like, everything's very, I think I did some of the bosses out of order, because...
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because, like, I've already killed an NPC, and, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've done a lot. Surprisingly, and, like, I think I put maybe 5 hours in it the last couple days, and I'm already like 28% or whatever. But
nice.
I'm definitely been doing things out of order, because like I just run as far as I can into one area,
right?
Until like it's like I can't, like a lot of times what stops me is this like green smoke, this poison gas, and I just don't have anything to stop that yet.
Yeah.
So usually that's like the dead stop point, because it's like it's impossible to go further.
Right. Like, but that at least gives you a barrier to like.
Right, to kind of
explore around.
Yeah, so I try to, if I can't go around it, then I'll like go back and then explore a different place. But I was watching like I'm far enough now. I've discovered enough zones now that like I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna watch a guy from the beginning play and see like if I've missed anything.
Yeah.
Which I have. There's so many more secrets than I imagined.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure.
I knew that there were gonna be fake walls, but there's like fake floors and hidden platforms and shit, and all sorts of crazy. Like, there's areas that you think you would fall into and die, but then eventually you get an ability that turns into just another area of the game, and it's like there's so many. So there's a lot more backtracking than I imagined as well.
Yeah, it's a pure Metroidvania.
But yeah. But I do enjoy like the different ways you're allowed. Like, you get a couple cool elevators. There's like a weird fast travel hand thing. Eventually, apparently, you're allowed to jump from the bonfires, quote unquote. But I don't know how far into the game. I imagine that's like later in the game, like probably after you beat it or whatever.
I think it might be like Dark Souls 1, where it's like the last third of the game.
Yeah, that's kind of how I imagine it, because it's probably more or less to go back and like discover secrets and tie up things and stuff.
But, yeah, original Souls, you don't get the bonfire fast travel until like way late, and then you get like a certain item at the end of the final area, or the beginning of the final area, and it's like now you can fast travel everywhere. But, okay.
Yeah, but other than that, I just go as far as I can until it's like clearly like I haven't earned this passage yet. Like, the jump is clearly like a double jump or something I haven't earned, or the poisonous gas or something. So it's like, okay, well, I'm definitely not supposed to be here.
Right.
But as long as I can find a way to continue, I have. And then, but I definitely did the bosses out of order.
Yeah. So. Well, do you think, I mean, these bosses are obviously hard, but are you having a better time with these versus like a Elden Ring boss or like a Dark Souls boss, or?
I get. Yeah, no, not really. I think they're the same. I mean, I think it's easier because it's 2D.
Yeah.
So you're limited to what's gonna happen. You're either gonna dodge or jump or.
Right, because it's 2D, I have a harder time personally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's all about patterns or whatever so far.
Right.
So like, as long as you figure out the pattern, I haven't had too much difficulty.
Right.
The boss that I'm on now has gotten a little harder, but I was like literally playing it right before I left. Yeah. So
nice.
It was like, I don't even know much about it yet. I think I made it like halfway down the health bar, and then it really picked up. It was funny because like it's the boss with the hands. I don't know if you know all the bosses, but there's a boss with like hands. It's like Charred Mother of the something. I don't know.
With the stigmata hands.
She has like hands and it's like shooting lasers and shit or whatever. But there's like this one point when you get her like 60% down or whatever. Well, like, everything she's done so far, she does it once.
Right.
And I was like dodging and jumping and stuff, and then just literally gets like pinned to the wall with all the stuff at once. It was like lasers and balls, and it's like I couldn't even move. I've never been like, like in a fighting game, like Tekken, when someone's just doing all the combos and you can't even, and you're just like literally pinned to the wall. It was like that. Like I never felt so like overkilled in a moment, but I like laughed. I started laughing because it was so stupid. I was just like, I couldn't even, there was nothing I could have done in that moment to avoid it. It was just, so really bad RNG, I guess, at that time. But
I find myself in those situations all the time in like 2D games, like Hollow Knight especially. Like it was always like, oh, I'm not dying in the middle I'm dying in the corner because I can't move around anymore.
Right. But I feel like once you figure out the pattern, or like every boss has their own little secret way of being defeated or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too hard. None of the regular enemies are. I mean, I don't want to say they're not difficult. They are difficult, but once you figure out their like how to really defeat them quickly, you can just breeze through them.
Right.
For the most part.
And you can run it like a Souls game too, where you don't need a. If you're going boss run after boss run, you can just fucking
right. Or if I'm
gun for it.
Yeah, if I've already been to a place and I'm just trying to pass through it, you know, and they set you up with like enough shortcuts and stuff for a lot of it that like, you can eventually kind of get around.
Yeah.
Bigger areas and stuff, or whatnot, but nothing too terrible. I like it. It's like Soulsy in a way, like it has the bonfire and the dodge and the bosses and the story itself are very Soulsy, but it doesn't have any of those like gotcha moments, like where like the unsuspected I'm getting pushed off a cliff moments, and I like that too, where it's like I feel safe playing the game, you know? Like I know so far, you know, and it could happen later, but so far walking into the next area or whatever, I don't feel like I'm going to be immediately sabotaged or, you know, intentionally like
fucked with
misplaced and have to like reroute or whatever, you know.
Right.
And I feel like every level is like there's some strategy to it. Right. You know, like everything's placed well. And frustrating at first, but then once you figure it out, it really is like even now running back, watching this guy's video and running back to get the secrets that I missed already, I'm just like bopping through because I'm, you know, that much stronger and stuff as well. So
yeah,
like,
and you have all the extra abilities.
It's already that much easier, even though I've barely scratched the surface on like what I can obtain. You know, like I'm still a level 1 out of 8 or whatever the levels are. So.
Oh really?
Yeah, I think your sword gets like 8 levels, but you have to find the idols.
Oh, okay.
Scattered throughout the game, and then each idol will upgrade your sword to the next level, I think.
Right.
If I understand correctly.
That's very Sekiro.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of like multiple idols or NPCs that you have to find to obtain power-ups. Mm-hmm. Like there's like a girl with like swords in her body, and every time you find her, she pulls a sword out, and that like raises your health by a little bit or something. Like, there's all sorts of cool crazy shit like that.
Yeah. But. Yeah, Sekiro, the way that you don't level up, you get XP, but when you get an XP bar, you put that into moves in your moveset. You don't level up traditionally.
Exactly, yeah. Pretty close to that.
Yeah, and then once you beat a mini boss, you get pieces of a bracelet, and then so many pieces make a full bracelet, and that levels up your health. And then the main bosses give you memories. Memories of war or whatever, and that gives you like an extra attack power bonus.
Okay,
so
I wonder.
It kind of levels you up slightly, but it's not like a traditional level up. You need to actually get good at the game.
I wonder if they're doing something. I haven't earned anything yet, but they have this. They have like different types of upgrades you can get, and one of them is for prayer beads, but you only start with 2.
Yeah.
And I think you can get up to 8, and I wonder if they're doing something similar with like the necklace, where like if you do a certain thing, you obtain a new bead on your
upgrade or anything.
Something. I've gotten health upgrades are from the sword lady.
Okay.
She'll pull out a sword and make your bar bigger. And then if you want new Estus flasks, or they're called something jars, I don't know. You have to find like a fountain of blood.
Right.
But
you put your mask in it.
No, that's when you defeat a boss.
Oh.
When you defeat a boss, he'll take the boss's blood and put it on his head.
That's so weird.
But the fountains of blood are just to fill up your health jars.
Oh, okay.
And so if you find more, you can't fill them up until. So I found like 3 before I found the fountain.
Right.
And then you have to pay for each one.
Oh, okay.
So like I had 3, and then I had enough money, I bought all of them, but it was like increased increments. So like the first one was like 300, the last one was like 900 or something. But
in weapons wise, I don't. Do you get more weapons? Than
no, it's just the. Well, as far as I can tell, it seems to be just the sword. Yeah. Well, because the sword itself seems to be like an important story thing. So you can just upgrade like the hilt of your sword. You can put something in it to change that ability, and then when you find the idols, similar to Sekiro, you can upgrade at the idols with your currency, which is tears or something.
Right. I like this sword a lot. I wonder if they do double down on that in the second one. Whenever I do get into that, or you get into that, I wonder if they stick to their guns on just one sword, or if they do like a battle axe or something like that, or like the Castlevania chain whip.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, like, because I haven't even seen how it ends, or like if they continue the story, or if it'll be like a.
I do know it's like the same dude.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's for sure. I just don't know if it's like a continuous thing.
Yeah. Or if it's like, is it the same dude, or is it like another dude in the same
armor
mask? Yeah, because at the beginning when you first start the game, there's like, you wake up to like thousands of bodies with that same helmet on.
Right.
So it's like it could just be another one of them, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm second guessing myself now. But I think the old lady thing that you level up from is also in the second game.
Oh, word, okay. I mean, it would make sense that it was the same one, but I wouldn't. I could see them like.
But I know for sure it's a different place entirely. It's like Spain or something. Like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like an actual country. It's based off of. Versus like Blasphemous. I mean, Blasphemous is like medievally England-esque.
Yeah.
Inspired. It's definitely inspired by paintings from that era of the Renaissance and stuff and medieval. And there's like 1,000 years in between that, but the second one's very much, it's like Spanish, like, I mean the first game has a lot of Spanish influence too, like Spanish Catholic influence, but the second one's very steeped in that specifically.
It's definitely very heavy religion based, so I can see that.
Yeah. And, like, the second one has a lot more, like, daytime, like, bright. It's a lot brighter and colorful.
Okay.
But it's also, like, a lot darker and gorier in parts, too. So, I don't know. Maybe once you get into beating that, jumping into the second one would be super easy. It was on Game Pass for a bit, but I think it just got announced it's leaving this month.
Word. Yeah, I never played it because I wanted to beat the first one.
Right. And the first one they released physically, I don't think they ever did for the second one.
No.
Yeah, which was a bummer. That'd be cool to have on disc, but it is one of those things. Yeah, Blasphemous 1, I haven't played, and I played for a bit, maybe a year ago now. It feels like it was like a month or two ago, but it was definitely in the old house. Now, I must have put like 3 or 4 hours into it, but I kept getting like the corner, like I'd keep getting locked into a corner and then not being able to pivot out of it. It felt like because of how slow you move in that game. So that's why I asked if like maybe speed gets ratcheted up.
They might have patched it a little bit too, because since I bought it, it came with all of the. I mean, I'm sure even if you didn't buy it, you just played it on Game Pass, it would. But it has all of the most recent updates. The DLC is already installed into it and everything. Yeah. So like it could have been patched, but also I think you do obtain things that make you faster. And, but like in different aspects, like, just your dodge will be faster, or just your swing will be faster, blah, blah, blah. So it is also kind of a like a build that you have to obtain as well, and kind of like match to your play style. Because like you do like the prayer beads is one thing that comes into play, and then there's like another thing that also gives you upgrades, but you just have to earn the beads along the way. So like at the beginning, right now, like I have two, and one of them's for like every time you hit an object, because there's like just random, like Castlevania style, there's like random just regular things to hit, you get like a little health back, you know.
Oh, okay.
So like I'll do that in between levels, and you know, it's like instead of wasting a flask or something, or but there's a lot of them for like, oh, faster weapon swing, faster dodge, faster, you know, jump and stuff like that. So I think it's
interesting.
I think a lot of it has to do with your build and your play style, and then eventually you'll go back and be like fucking OP or whatever.
Interesting. That's different from any of the soul stuff, where like that's usually tied to like armor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Sekiro's not like that either. It's just moves. it's not nothing. You don't. Or I guess there is one move that if you do a successful counter, you get health back, but it's very minimal. It's like Bloodborne has that aggression thing where like if you get hit, you have a chance to like get in there and attack back, and that'll build your health meter. It's kind of like that for Sekiro as well. They might even have like a successful like death counter if you get, or I think a visceral, that's what they're called. Yeah. If you get a successful visceral, you might get health back as well, but in those games it's also very small. But that's cool. It gives you a little bit more like picky, choosy kind of. That's like a Fallout tree almost, where like the perk tree from Fallout.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. It's just there's like just different types of things you can upgrade to be customizable.
That's cool. Yeah. And then you can make like completely different builds as well.
Right.
Like, versus like, with Sekiro, I guess you could make a different type of build, but really you're playing one way for the most part, and then you can kind of like improv around. I mean, Souls, of course, you can play however you want in those games, but it's a lot more loosey goosey because you don't have specific upgrades. You have more ephemeral kind of like luck stats and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the armor or whatever could be like, oh, plus 2% health or whatever. That kind of stuff. So that's cool. I do want to go back to it. I should go back to it. Wonder how long it is. I'll look it up.
It can't be more than like 40, 50 hours.
Oh, for sure not. That would be long. Even that would be long.
Because the guy I'm watching right now who 100%ed it, I think he had like 45 hours in. That doesn't mean he hasn't played it a couple times to get good first, but he 100%ed it at 45. So.
Not including DLC.
See, that's the thing. The DLC is just kind of like hardwired into this.
Right.
So I don't even know. I may not even know if I've entered the DLC, to be honest. I doubt it. I'm sure that's further into the game, but
yeah, I think you'd be able to tell. You'd be able to be like, this is definitely after they made the main game. Yeah, usually, I mean, even with Souls, like
yeah,
Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is like, oh, you can tell that this is DLC because they just worked.
Yeah.
And like they already knew their shit and built on top of it kind of thing. So,
I figured it would be a little more obvious, or they would introduce it in a way that like I would know, but there was no option. At least I didn't really look too hard, but it didn't seem there was even an option to not have it on until I beat the main game, but
yeah. Plus DLC. If you were to take this math and add it all together, probably around 25 hours if you're good with the game. It's saying like 15 hours for the main game, and then 4.5 to 5.5 hours for the DLC.
That must be like if you're just...
But then you have people on Reddit being like, I'm 29 hours in the game and I just hit this part. Am I shit? So.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I mean, on top of like, that must be like also if you're just mainline, that can't be 100%ing it.
Right.
Because there's so many hidden things.
Yeah.
Because that's my thing is like, I'll be mainlining it and then find a secret that just takes you to another place all of a sudden. And now I'm just there now.
Right. Let me go back to...
But...
If you want... How long to beat gives you 4 stats, usually. They give you the main story, the main plus sides, the completionist, and then all styles, like average. If you were a completionist, it does say 30 hours. Main plus sides, 20 hours, and then all styles averaged out is 19.5.
Well, yeah, that makes more sense.
That doesn't include the DLC, so
yeah.
The DLC was all separate.
I imagine that's another 10 hours or so.
Yeah, it said the DLC for completionist was 6 hours.
Oh wow, actually that's smaller than I imagined.
Yeah, but that's also like people who are good at the game too, so you never know. Or like on Reddit where somebody's like, "Oh, I'm 20 something hours into it and I've just hit, this part of the game." I mean, that's people's soul story as well.
I was gonna say, yeah, some people. I mean, because I'm not like terrible at the game. I actually die more to just the platforming than I do the bosses. To be honest,
that's my most frustrating part too.
But
I've never been good at 2D platforming, or just platforming in general. But 2D games, I'm not good at.
I don't play enough. Yeah, I guess I've kind of avoided them for the most part.
Yeah,
I'm not terrible. This one doesn't feel bad. But I think it's just the art that keeps me playing. Like, I just can't wait to see the next weird pixelated thing that they're going to throw at me or whatever.
It's so pretty.
And they keep it consistent enough that,
this whole time I could have been playing video.
You could have, yeah.
It's all good. I'm doing it now.
And they keep it consistent enough that, like, I don't feel like I don't get bored of anything.
Right. This is Blasphemous 2, but if I just look up the word blasphemous, I bet YouTube's gonna have a shit fit. Did you mean you're really big into religion now? And then just screw up my whole algorithm? But yeah, the art's crazy in this game. That's one thing where they definitely double down in the second one, where like
dripping with gruesome style,
it's so much more detailed in the pixels and everything like that.
Yeah. Dedication to twisted religious iconography and unassuming hero who habitually slams vials of blood against his helmet are undeniably awesome, but style doesn't always beget substance.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh yeah,
the Metroidvania with a Dark Souls bent. Blasphemous is an enjoyable descent into a pitiless world, partially marred by some cumbersome mechanics and tedium.
That's the first area.
The cradle of affliction is what you seek. This can be found in the mother of mothers.
Oh, it is a game where like
with a title like Blasphemous,
having this art just like by itself would be cool. Because it is all based off Renaissance paintings and stuff like that.
This non-linear adventure features quite a number of twisted environments, deranged enemies, and riddle-like dialogue that paints a distinct and ultimately unseen.
Yeah, I also love how like in so many of the areas there's just massive like statues and creatures in the background.
Right.
And like
eventually you get to them.
You're just so tiny compared to them. It's so crazy.
It does do the scale very well.
Yeah, like, the scale is great in this game, yeah.
Yeah.
Parries are particularly satisfying as they lead to a brief slowdown in
parries are pretty cool, yeah.
counterattack.
The parry system's not super difficult, but like you don't really have to do it. They don't force you. They don't make it feel like it's this or nothing.
Right.
Which they kind of do a little bit more in, like, Lies of P.
Yeah.
I mean, I still went most of the game without parrying, but there's definitely parts where it would have been easier.
Lies of P was pretty parry heavy.
Blasphemous is about trial and error.
Yeah, they definitely want you to, but they give you enough options that, like, it's not forced.
I'm not great at Lies of P parry, though. I stopped this. I quit the second there that last boss. So I was like, fuck this, I'm just gonna get the bad ending.
Everything is fresh and exciting, but once you spend a bit of time there, that freshness turns stale. Luckily, each
that's a game I'm probably gonna replay shortly. I should do that soon.
Some of the boss fights are marvels that really
this boss is where I'm at right now.
Okay. Almost all of them are ridiculously creepy.
I thought you were talking about
engaging and tough but fair.
The Mother Mary, or the Virgin Mary lady, and then her face turns into like a skull. But she also has like stigmata hands, like the nail wounds.
No, I haven't seen that. Yeah, so see, this is like that's their sword upgrade thing.
No.
Sadly, other aspects of Blasphemous combat systems are somewhat impractical and borderline superfluous. Magic abilities called prayers drain your fervor meter, calling in lightning strikes, increasing your attack speed, and more. Unfortunately, activating a prayer initiates an overly long animation that leaves you vulnerable, which often makes trying to use them more trouble than they are worth.
No, I think they're pretty OP, to be honest. I mean, it does slow you down a little bit, but that's
probably should. 3 other categories of items.
I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's about timing. If you're going to use such a powerful thing, maybe you should be slowed down a little bit. Imagine if you could just rocket fire OP lasers the whole game, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, that is Souls right there. I mean, like, Souls does have different casts and everything like that on different spells. But if you want to do, like,
creepy and unsettling action platformer,
I think the timing is... I've never had a timing issue.
No.
That never failed to impress. The combat can be satisfying.
Yeah, it's literally just about, like, it's no different than doing, like, a quick swing versus a hard swing.
Right.
One's going to be a little slower, but you know it's going to be a little more powerful.
Superfluous and poorly implemented upgrade mechanics keep Blasphemous from having the amount of depth seen in many other games across the genre.
Pretty low for
it's still an enjoyable Metroidvania,
yeah.
not an all
especially when Hollow Knight got a 9.
For more moody action platformers, check out our reviews of...
I think it's great.
Yeah, that's from a different breed of reviewer.
Yeah.
Whenever IGN review, I mean, like, I get it. IGN is the faceless entity, but people are like, oh, they gave this a review so much in a review, and then they gave this a review. It's like those are 2 different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. And it's possible that the guy who played these games just never has played one of these before. It could just be some freelancer reviewer.
Right. Who could suck.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happened to Demon Souls back in the day.
Yeah.
Where it was like, nobody knew what Demon Souls was from Software, so they gave it to freelancers. And then the freelancers came back and were like, this is a 10.
Right.
You know those circus performers who contort their bodies in terrifying ways for our squeamish amusement? Blasphemous.
But yeah, they like double down on the pixel art. It's like even more high def.
Mesmerizing in that I just can't look away kind of way that's best watched between the fingers covering your grimacing face. While the sequel definitely doesn't break any ground in the world of 2D Metroidvanias that the original didn't, the unique and fantastic art, music, style, and story make an otherwise orthodox adventure extremely memorable. An awesome new arsenal of weapons and an increased
so you do get new weapons.
Make this
because I remember the hammer. I thought I remember axes. Ooh. Oh, that's his weapon. I was like, that'd be sick.
That would be so cool.
From the jump, you'll hack and slash your way through some absolutely beautiful,
oh yeah, it's a little chain thing.
Hallways
yeah,
with
that's
horrific
cool. Hell yeah.
Perform life-threatening feats of platforming prowess, and go up against bosses so unsettling that not even their detail-obscuring pixel art style can save you from the night terrors that are sure to follow. Collecting various passive buffs and spells while upgrading your character's weapons and health and magic meters makes for a fantastic climb to unparalleled power. And by the end,
yeah,
I
even the
looked and felt
backgrounds
the
are
part
even
of the
like
ultimate unholy warrior.
They're like
It's true
moving
that
and stuff
little
too.
of
There's
that
even
hasn't
more
been
like
done before, but Blasphemous 2 looks quite spectacular, standing proud atop the shoulders of giants that came before. The thing that really sets it apart is its extremely unnerving art, story, and characters, all of which are so frightfully memorable they elevate the by-the-numbers blueprint, fueled by whatever the body
It's
horror
weird that they went that art
charm
style for the
is.
cutscenes.
Yeah.
Because they were always pixelated. I feel like that's kind of the point, was the
Even by the high standards of the first Blasphemous,
beauty of the
which came out in
pixelation.
2017,
Right.
the sequel is both revolting and gorgeous, with all too detailed death animations.
That's cool.
Yikes! Aw, gross. It's all set against breathtaking levels, like this dungeon that takes place in a giant, upside-down
These
castle made of
soundtracks,
wax.
too, are really
that
good.
fantastic level of detail is often used against you to disturbing effect, as you're subjected to some of the most repulsive stuff ever to warrant a good old-fashioned eyeball bleaching. I had to interact with this lady more than I cared to, and had to watch her skin get progressively ripped off throughout the adventure as she helped my character get stronger. And then there's this upsetting guy. Ew, stop doing that, that's nasty. Seriously, this is one of the grossest games I've ever played, which of course is a compliment in this context.
But the miracle,
That is pretty funny.
who bestows and wrests away its grace with inscrutable agency.
Yeah, I kind of wish they kept the cutscenes pixelated though.
right.
The story continues
It's
the
not.
violent
It's
and
not the
often
worst, but it
convoluted
does
trials of the
feel like
penitent one,
cheap
the
Warner
last living
Brothers
member of the
animation.
family,
It also
who's
kind
tried
of
to
takes
prevent
away.
the
It
abominations
takes
born
you
from
out of
godlike
the.
phenomenon known as the
The
miracle.
beauty of
There
it.
was there was a beauty in the pixelation, and you're like in that world, and then when you go to a cutscene and it's like all scrubbed and clean looking,
Right.
you don't even feel like.
moments before they devour their own
And it's
limbs
not
or
like
something
a-
unhinged like that. But an admittedly an enormous butt. If
I
you
mean, not
stick
like
with
it's
it,
ugly. It
roll
looks
with the
nice still, but
disquieting
it's just.
punches, and maybe read a few item descriptions every
They're
now
not
and
so
again.
contrasting.
That story is
Yeah.
actually really good.
And a lot of
even if
them
it did
don't
increase
seem
my
like full
pre-existing fear of
animations, it's
churches
like
by 70%.
stills.
One thing
Right,
that
and it's
does
not like
different from the
when
first game is
a-
that where its predecessor focused almost solely on combat, Blasphemous
It wasn't like
spent
when, like,
equal
a-
amount of time
like a
testing
Final
your
Fantasy
reflexes
or an
with
RPG
increasing
does it, you know?
independent platform
Yeah.
sections
'Cause that's
to do
more- that
wonders
makes
to
kind of
break up the
sense.
action. That's accomplished using the 3 new weapons that you're introduced to
But
as a replacement to the mea culpa,
this
which
seems
was your
more
only
like-
option
yeah, I
during
don't know.
the Penitent One's
Yeah.
first
And I'm not
crusade,
gonna
all of which come
not
with
play
their
it because of
own
that, but it
abilities.
definitely takes
My
the
personal favorite, the War Sensor, is a powerful flail that lets
the
you
beauty
spot
out of it.
bells to reveal hidden
Yeah.
platforms.
Yeah,
and open
especially with
locked
how
passageways for a
highly
limited
detailed
time.
they
It
got
also
with
just has a long
everything
reach and
else
deals a
in
lot
the
of damage,
pixels.
which
Like,
I
Right.
I
love.
would have loved to
There's
see
also
that up
the lightning
close.
fast
Yeah,
rapier and
exactly.
dagger that let you dash through nifty mirrors to move quickly and pass through certain otherwise impassable
Souls 2.
barriers. And finally, the well-rounded praying blade that lets you do a downward strike that destroys enemies and sturdy obstructions alike.
Ooh,
Oh,
double sword.
but you can switch weapons, so that's cool.
That is your arsenal. Many sections require skillful use
Be able to
of
do that
multiple weapons to
mid-boss.
navigate an area without falling to your death.
Oh,
and certain
wow.
weapons are better suited for killing different
So you have to,
enemies.
like, switch
You might
weapons
start taking out enemies with your
mid-platforming and
giant
shit.
flail, then use it to hit a bell to reveal some hidden platforms before switching to your rapier to dash through some magical mirrors
Wow.
before launching a flurry of quick jabs from your blade. Stringing together awesome
That's-
maneuvers like
that's,
that made me feel like an absolute badass. And is a
Hollow
huge
Knight
step
has,
up from
has
only
some
having
stuff like
access
that.
to
You
a
don't
fairly
switch a lot of
milquetoast mea
weapons, but
culpa
you do
in the
have a
first
lot
game.
of different platforming styles in that game.
One element that
Ori
hasn't
as
improved
well.
much at
I
all,
don't know
though,
if you
is
ever
the
played
enemy
Ori.
variety, which remains fairly weak
Ori
from
and the
area
Will
to
of the
area.
Wisps.
Usually, after a few sections in one level, you'll have seen the 2 or 3 new enemy types and be forced to take out the same bunch of sickos repeatedly until you finally reach the boss. It can be especially irritating when some enemies spam attacks that require patience before you can fight back, meaning you find yourself standing around waiting for the enemy to finish breathing fire for a few seconds before you can counter with a few hits before waiting some more. There's also a whole bunch of repeat enemies who change their color and element of their attacks but are essentially identical to the guys you've been killing for hours already. Like these big knights who have
That's
a
pretty
buttload of
awesome.
health and slowly swing at you with their massive blunt objects.
Yeah.
I really got sick of seeing these jerks every couple minutes.
I mean, I guess it depends on how
Thankfully,
common it
bosses are a
was,
lot more
but
interesting than the minions
And
who
how
serve
good you
them.
are at dealing
And
with
each
them.
section
Yeah.
features a big bad for you to take your frustrations
but if there's enough
out on.
bosses in
Taking
between
down
that are
evil,
different, I'm not
usually
going to
disgusting
complain.
Yeah,
boss is
right.
always a good time.
There's
Though
you can only
Blasphemous
have
2
so
definitely
many
lacks the level of challenge I look for in my
regular
Metroidvanias.
characters. You know?
Right.
There are
I'd be fine if it was
difficulty
all
settings to crank
bosses.
up. In about
You
half
know?
the
Right.
cases,
So, like,
I
the
killed
fact
the
Just
that
area
there's
by
platforming
myself
and
in
bosses.
with most
between.
of
Yeah.
the other half falling on my second attempt once I'd gotten
Right,
through
like I
the
think
moveset.
I feel like
As someone who
they
really enjoys
did
the
that
trial
because
and error
they
of the
added
boss
more
fight, I found
complexity to
myself
the
somewhat
platforming.
disappointed
Yeah.
that many of these climaxes concluded so quickly. Still,
Yeah,
even
they-
when they
they
ended
went
abruptly,
really hard
all the
on
monsters you
the
fight are
platforming
creatively
angle.
designed and memorable. Like this bullet hell priest who keeps switching faces, and this robot and his child sidekick who team up to send you straight to the afterlife.
And it's neat.
Blasphemous 2 is an excellent Metroidvania and a marked improvement over the
8.5.
original, even if it did occasionally make me cancel my lunch plans with its grotesqueries. What it lacks in originality with its design, it more than makes up for with its bizarre
Lacks in
world,
originality?
compelling story,
Yeah, show me a
inspired
fucking game that
mean
looks
the-
like
new
this.
methods
Yeah.
and focus on
You mean it's not
platforming
original from the
definitely
first
helped
one?
sustain my enjoyment for the campaign's size.
What do you mean original? When's the last time you saw a bearded man breastfeed a baby on the side of a cliff?
Pixel art.
In pixel art. What isn't original about that?
Yeah.
The adorable world of Hollow Knight, but you'd be hard pressed to find something better to play.
8,
while you
alright.
continue your interminable wait for Silk Song.
It
For
is
more,
on Game
check out
Pass
our
still.
review.
I think I got like another week or two before.
I'll probably just end up buying it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just because I already own the first one.
Right.
And
You can get all the DLC with that.
right. And they are like, they're big enough that playing them is fun, but they're small enough that like you can beat it in like a week and a half if you really dedicate. Especially once you get to know all the levels. I could
Right.
rip back through it, no problem. And yeah, each little level's, only so much, and then you don't really have to worry about it again or whatever.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's fun.
Blasphemous.
It's fun. I only have like a week off of school, so I just figured I'd do a little bit of that.
Yeah. Are you out for like semester changes? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, next
Like,
semester
it's May.
starts in June.
Right. That makes sense. That's cool. Well, hopefully you beat it by then. We'll get an end of game review soon. We'll see. I mean, don't try to rush yourself to beat it. But if you do end up beating it by that point, that'd be cool. I didn't play much this week. I just played some more Oblivion, but it was nice to play Oblivion for the first time for like 5 or 6 hours straight without it crashing.
Nice. That's always fun.
Yeah, it had another patch, I'm pretty sure, and it played the game pretty smoothly. So I'm excited to get back into it, because that was like I gave some time off, like a week off or two, to have them iron out some of that shit, because it was just so bad.
Yeah.
Stuttering all the time, like if too many things start moving around and loading too fast around, it would start stuttering, which was super annoying. But then it would crash all the time. Apparently there's a memory leak issue in the game. I haven't had any save problems yet, but that's scary as well.
Right.
Yeah, meaning the longer that you play, the more likely it's gonna just completely get rid of your save.
Right, yeah.
And yeah, that's horrifying. But ever since I've heard that, the last few times I've shut down the game completely and restarted it to hopefully get rid of that. But it's one of those things of like, a memory leak isn't measurable. You can't like, and you don't know it's happening until it happens.
Right.
But that sucks. That's really shity. But ideally that's fixed now. I haven't had any issues yet with that, so I'm gonna give it another go tonight. and see how far I can get before it hopefully doesn't crash. But if it crashes, then I'll try to get as far as I get until that point. I'm nowhere close to beating it.
No.
But I'm just fucking around and doing little side quests and stuff like that.
Right.
The last side quest I did was a side quest called Paranoia, and you just go around and spy on people because this crazy guy thinks everybody's spying on him.
Nice.
But it's really he's spying on all the other people because he thinks that everybody's in on him. Yeah, so it was funny. I was super into that quest, but I was like, dude, you're gonna get me killed. that was the big thing of like everybody was like, oh, he's crazy, but then I was like following people and stuff like that, and then one guy was like, oh, if you fuck with this dude and he dies, then I'm gonna come after you. And then that dude died. The guy who gave me the quest tried killing me and he died. So I gotta get back and figure out what's gonna happen after that, because I left it after he died. I didn't explain that well. So there's a guy who's like a guard in the city who's watching over the crazy guy as well, who is spying on him to make sure that the crazy guy doesn't go crazy. Yeah. But then the guy was like, the guard guy was like, yeah, if he dies or you get him in any trouble, I'm gonna come after you. I was like, I don't know what that means.
It's gonna be like across the map. He's just gonna be running at you.
Right. And then the crazy guy aggroed on me in the middle of the town, and the NPC's like mentality is the way it's designed is that if a fight breaks out in the middle of the city, the guards are just gonna go over to whatever aggroes, and they all aggroed on the crazy guy. And then the dude who threatened me killed the crazy guy because he just did the NPC thing of like, oh, I gotta protect the town or whatever, so I kill aggro. So I ended up making the dude kill the other dude. Right. And now I don't know what's gonna happen, but I stopped it after that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll have a thing for that. Like, I killed my own...
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might just blame it on me, but I didn't fight him. I don't even think I took a swing at him.
Why'd he even aggro at you?
Because he was... So, the quest goes, he has you spy on all these people to see why they're spying on him. And it turns out none of them are spying on him, but he's crazy, so you can't really reason with him. And then at the end, the third person you spy on, he's like, you're lying to me, I knew it. Like, and you're telling me that none of these people are spying on me, that means you're the one spying on me. And then he turns on you and then aggroes, and I was like, no, I can't kill you, I'm gonna run away, that guy's gonna be mad at me.
It's almost unavoidable.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, it always seems like he was gonna get crazy and like try to aggro on you. I think it might have been avoidable for the guards to not kill him.
Kill him, yeah.
But the game doesn't know any better.
Right, yeah.
So
it only has so many controls or whatever.
So it just did what it does, and the guard guy killed the crazy dude, and then and I turned the game off right after that because I was like, oh, that was funny. I gotta go to work. I think his name was Glarthier. That was the crazy guy's name. Glarthier.
Glarthier.
Yeah. So that's a lot easier calling him crazy guy than Glarthier over and over again.
Very true, yeah.
But Glarthier was the one who died, and Dion was the guard who killed him. Oblivion's really fun. I played through Donut County. We talked about that last time. Mm-hmm. So the next game I want to play that's smaller. I think RoboCop's on sale on PlayStation for like $8. Yeah. So I want to get that because I think it's still like $50 physically. So, what else? I guess that's it. My nose is so stuffy. I've been trying not to sneeze this whole time. I need to blow it.
Oh, that reminded me.
Yeah.
So, speaking of killing NPCs,
yeah,
you shouldn't have. The reason why earlier I said that I killed an NPC in Blasphemous. Right. So there's this character you meet who's like entombed in a tree or whatever, and you have to go fetch this thing to help him out, or I don't know if you free him. I don't know, but apparently it's a timed event, which exists in this fucking thing.
Right.
I didn't know that, but
that happens.
I don't know if it's timed, like literally timed. So like from the moment you speak to him, there's a timer, and then you have to go back. You have to get the thing, or because the playthrough that I'm watching is like 3 years old, so this is before a lot of patches in the DLC and stuff.
Right.
It could be that I defeated like bosses in the wrong order, because I defeated a boss that I don't think you were supposed to find right away, according to the storyline at least.
Right.
And
I think that just triggered a world event.
And I think
the Souls way.
Yeah, because I think if you have to beat a boss after, like a certain boss after you defeat him, or after you meet the tree guy, or what happens is he gets completely engulfed by the tree,
right,
and then dies, basically. I think you can still complete his quest, like it won't lock you out of getting 100% and get the item from him, but he just doesn't live or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever his actual story. I don't complete his storyline, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of sucks. I mean, I'm glad that like they did fix that problem, so you don't. Because originally, I guess you would get locked out. Like if you didn't complete his quest on time, you would just have to play the game over again.
Yeah.
Which is like crazy, but also kind of cool, I guess.
No,
but
that is the Souls way.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that they do it is that it's never timed. It's if you kill a boss or if you go to a new area, those are the two things that will change a world or world state.
Yeah.
And it's not always the case, of course, but like NPCs, like especially the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, where you have all of them like kind of like they're all like going all over the place, all over the map, all the people that you meet. Yeah, it's whenever you find a different area of the world. Because in Shadow of the Erdtree, Mesmer, the guy that you're fighting, or not Mesmer, what's his name? The guy with the G name. Well, blonde-haired dude's like getting rid of all of his humanity and dropping them all over.
I keep wanting to say Gandalf, but that's not it.
It's like I want to say Gwendolyn, but it's not Gwendolyn.
I know who you're talking about, though.
Yeah, I think it might be Gwen. Gwendolyn is from Dark Souls 3. But he's leaving all of his like body parts and humanity all over the place.
Right.
He's like, here's my arm of strength. Here's
it's like
my
a big
eyeball
cross
of sight.
Circle thing. Yeah.
And then you'll have NPCs like gathered at that. And it's not until you find like a new world or a new area in the world will another one go to that point of the map.
Yeah.
Or to another point like that in the map. So yeah, that's cool. That's probably what happened. Is that that's good that they give you a way to like get the item.
Yeah.
Sekiro is the only one I remember that's ever done that in those games.
Yeah.
Where like, yeah, there's a couple of side quests in Sekiro that are. There's two of them that are like bring an item back and forth kind of thing, but then there's like two areas that are called memories in the game.
Yeah.
And they're completely optional. But if you don't do the memory at a certain point of the game, and you will switch it over so that the next memory will be the world state that you'll go to, and you'll completely
You
like
can't
miss
go
the
back to
first area.
Yeah.
So you just get that boss item like in a chest later in the game.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it might even just be in your hub area at that point too.
Oh, word.
Yeah, but
yeah, I guess if you miss this guy, if he like fully turns to a tree, once you fetch the item you were supposed to, you like go back and he's like, there's like something growing at the bottom of the tree. Whereas before it was just like, you just got
find the
fucked.
tree.
So it's cool that they added like a little bit to it to like make it still work.
Yeah. Does it give you like lore descriptions on items?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything has a little bit of
So I
lore.
wonder if that will give you like some lore.
Tons of lore. Yeah.
That's cool.
And there's
I love
like
that shit.
hidden. Something I really love is there's hidden bone fragments all around the game.
Yeah.
And they're, from what I've been told, they are the names of like the top Patreon supporters.
Oh.
And so there's like a hidden area when you collect them. They have like lore attached to each of them, and then there's like a trophy collection area where like they all get put up into this like mausoleum or whatever. But it's like different bone pieces, like a cervix and a sternum and a finger and shit like that. And
I was thinking you were gonna be like, oh, and then you get all of them, and it makes a monster.
I think you do get something if you collect them all, but
it makes a big.
It
boss.
would be super sick if that happened. It would make sense.
Yeah,
but
you make like a
super
Frankenstein monster thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them have been different. I don't know if that would be sick. It would make, yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe that'll happen. I think you get I think at the most, or at the least, you get a new skin yourself, like a new outfit or whatever.
I didn't know it was kickstarted though. That's cool.
Yeah, me neither. Until
that makes sense.
I heard that.
It's around the time 5-6 years ago or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It seems older than that though.
2019.
That's crazy. Blasphemous release date.
At least that's
when the review came out.
That's the date.
Yeah,
on
September.
On the intro screen when you turn it on.
Right, September 10th, 2019. I mean, COVID just sucked all the time away.
They also like.
It feels like that was
kept making update. Oh, you think it's older?
Yeah, I thought it was like early. I mean, not like early PlayStation, but like 2016 maybe.
Oh, maybe just because of the style.
Yeah.
I thought it was newer, to be honest. I thought it was like 2021.
Yeah, and Blasphemous is like a very... I mean, like, I haven't played a lot of Blasphemous, but it's very much one of those games that are always in the conversation around me. Mm-hmm. Of like Sekiro and Dark Souls and Hollow Knight, and Blasphemous is always right there.
And they've been consistently updating since they've been put out, even with the DLC. Like I feel like they've been very well at like keeping their name in the conversation, like just constantly, improving and updating, dropping the thing, and now they're like, we got number 2.
Right. Their next game comes out soon. I thought it got a date pretty recently. Maybe not. We'll see. Thought it got a date. First preview. Oh, it's just summer right now. My nose is so stuffy. My allergies have been so bad today. I don't know what happened.
The Game Kitchen.
Yeah, Game Kitchen's their name, yeah.
What's the other team? It's like 7...
Team 17 is the publisher. Yeah. They publish a lot of...
So now this art style makes more sense, because this is kind of the direction Blasphemous 2 went.
Right.
And so then they just went full animated cutscenes.
Yeah.
It seems like whoever their animator was in Blasphemous 2, they really leaned into.
Right, and this is what the game looks like in general.
Which this looks sick.
Yeah.
So...
I don't think there's any pixel art in this game at all.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess they just went full, like, they kept the pixelation for the...
No,
no.
It's pixel art.
Oh, okay. Wow, yeah. So they just went full... I guess that makes sense.
And this game will be
This looks cool, yeah.
just as hard, tough as nails, which is cool, because Ninja Gaiden's always been that.
Oh, yeah, of course. You have to make it hard. That looks cool. I like it's like sharp but pixelated. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that art style makes sense for the cutscenes too.
Right.
As like a new game, you know, you can do that, but I feel like you shouldn't have done it for Blasphemous.
Yeah, they should have stuck to their guns on Blasphemous.
Because that was like part of the beauty, you know.
Right, for sure.
But it's whatever. It's fine. I like it either way. But that's sick. I completely forgot that they were doing that game, so that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I might play it, but I'm not playing Blasphemous because it's a hard-ass platformer.
No.
I'm playing it for the art. So, like, that, sure, probably has a cool story into it, but that's definitely meant for, like, someone who likes really hard platformers.
For sure.
More so than, like, a cool story or whatever.
Well, I mean, if it's a Ninja Gaiden does have a lot of platforming in it, but they're mostly action games.
Right. Well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it's more meant for, like, the hardcore player and not, like, someone who just wants to see a bunch of cool shit.
Right. Did they ever do a trailer for this Black Panther game? I don't think they did. Maybe it was just the reveal. Yeah, it was just a 10-second teaser trailer. You remember this?
No.
No. What was it? It was like the...
I remember that.
Yeah, I think it was the same year we started this podcast. It was that same summer. They announced 2 Black Panther games.
They're combing the streets.
There's this one, which is called Marvel 1943, I think.
Yeah.
If they arrest you too,
At the time, it was just called,
and you will not return.
I don't even think it had a name yet. I think it was just Untitled Captain America Black Panther Project. This is not the one that I'm going to be talking about, but this is the one that's, as of right now, still coming out, is what you're seeing on the screen. But yesterday, EA came out and said EA is canceling the Black Panther game and is closing Cliffhanger Games. Electronic Arts is canceling its planned Black Panther game and shutting down developer Cliffhanger Games, IGN has learned. In an email sent to staff from EA Entertainment, President Laura Meal said that these changes, alongside with other recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to sharpen and focus our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. I don't know how much cachet the Marvel name carries anymore, now that we're so desensitized to it.
Yeah.
And the wonder of superheroes is kind of washed away.
Mm-hmm.
It was also weird that 2 Black Panther games got greenlit in the same year.
I think they were definitely trying to live up on the hype of it all.
Right. Like, dude had just died, basically.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, Black Panther games.
That's what the people want.
Yeah, that's what we want. And I think that's on Marvel to be like, oh, we need to find a new Black Panther quick.
Yeah.
To keep Black Panther around. But I don't know. It is strange. To get the license and do all of this stuff and to be like, oh, we're canceling it for other growth opportunities.
Yeah.
EA's been canceling a lot of stuff lately. They just canceled another Titanfall project. I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Something like that. Project. And then a few months ago, even before that, they canceled a different Titanfall project that was part of Apex.
Yeah.
They canceled the Apex single player as well. they canceled the first-person shooter Star Wars game as of recent. They canceled, or they didn't cancel it. I just don't think they ever greenlit it. A Dead Space 2 remake. Really, the only thing that we know that they're working on for sure right now, that's the heater.
Oh, I thought it was lightning.
Oh.
Because it's been raining.
Yeah, it's been raining.
So like it's finally hit.
No, yeah, I'm surprised the heater's even going too. It's not that cold.
It's a little chilly out.
Yeah,
Side.
but my room says 66.
It was like 60.
Yeah. Huh.
And the rain's probably chilling it up too.
Yeah, it's always colder down here too.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised. I guess it's probably colder in the laundry room right there where there's no insulation.
Sure.
But yeah, it's very strange for EA. I don't know. Maybe it's not strange because it's EA. Maybe because they've been canceling all this, and maybe it was writing on the wall. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they just had too many. Maybe they just had too many things at once, and then they realized it and were like, "Oh gosh, maybe we should step back."
Right. The only other game that we know EA has confirmed, besides the sports games, of course, is that EA Motive, the Dead Space remake people, are also working on an Iron Man game.
Oh, yeah.
And that Iron Man game got announced at the same time as that Black Panther game. So we know that they still have one Marvel licensed game coming out at some point. And
they should have canceled that one first.
Yeah.
Before Black Panther.
Right. I agree. But it seems like, from what I've heard, that game's development has been going very well. And I've heard nothing about the development of Black Panther.
Yeah.
I don't know what Cliffhanger did before this. I wonder if Cliffhanger Games was spun up for this. Or, let's see. A studio focused on building innovative blockbuster action-adventure games, aiming to break new ground for interactive storytelling. We believe the best stories are the ones told by you. And that's why we're bringing together a diverse team of developers to build a world where your stories define the experience. Black Panther's the only game on their page as of right now. Games list. Oh, okay. So maybe they are a little bit more, a little bit more developed. Okay, no. So it seems like Cliffhanger Games from EA was spun up just for this specifically. So that kind of I mean, people are still losing their jobs here, but that feels a lot less bad than them just canceling a legendary studio. Like, who just fucking was it EA that just killed a studio as well not too long ago? I feel like somebody just killed a studio that was like super monumental. Oh, WB killed Monolith, which was the Batman Arkham Origins, Shadow War. Oh no, they didn't do Arkham Origins. That was Montreal. But they did Shadow War and Shadow of Mordor. But they also did Monolith did a few other bigger games.
Oh yeah, they did that's the one where you like take you like hypnotize the orcs to do your bidding or whatever.
Yeah. Monolith also did Fear, the original Fear game.
You know that they have a license to that.
They own the Nemesis system.
Right, yeah. That's what it's called.
They have a patent on the Nemesis system. Yeah, that's Warner Brothers specifically.
And it sucks because it's like, I love that game.
Right. I mean, like, my argument with that is like, yeah, it sucks that they patented a game development idea because you're not supposed to be able to patent ideas.
Right.
And that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
But also Nintendo does that shit all the time. And that's how they got Power World sued.
Yeah, hardcore. They're being so nitpicky now. It's so silly.
Right, but that's how they're gonna win. They're not gonna win on a plagiarism clause because that's almost none of those cases get won. That was like one of the things we talked about back then. But like when you take an idea like that, even though you're not supposed to patent ideas, like because it's software, it's like in this weird middle ground of like technically it's a product, but it's an idea within a product kind of thing. Nintendo and Pokemon have a patent on throwing a ball and it catching something.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because that's like if you invented the trumpet and then sued everyone that tried to play the trumpet.
Right.
It's like, no, I made this instrument for me.
What if Pokemon...
And me only.
Right. What if Pokemon sued you for playing baseball?
Literally, yeah. They could literally just sue baseball.
Right.
Actually, baseball could sue them. But they invented throwing a ball.
Right, but do they have the patent on it? That's all what...
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, because...
That's like that. I've only seen it. Hulk, Hogan Knows Best. You ever see that show?
Yeah.
He bought the trademark for the money sign.
Right.
Like it was just a regular symbol that and then he bought a certain the way it was drawn or so he could like sell T-shirts with it on it and like make money or something.
So trademarks are a different thing where trademarks are the idea.
Right.
So if you have a trademark on something like art or a brand or something like that, that's how you protect that.
But they're like temporary.
They are temporary if you don't use it.
Right. But a patent is like forever.
Patent's forever.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. A trademark's 27 years or something like that, and then depending on what type of trademark it is, it elongates. I think it's 90 years for a movie now.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's because of Disney. Disney has been notorious about trying to push that back as far as possible, and now it's inevitable where like Steamboat Willie and all that stuff's finally breaking through.
I know. I got to see that horror movie.
Yeah, exactly. Winnie the Pooh as well. Winnie the Pooh is one of those things where like you start getting into the patent versus the trademark with those things as well, where like the trademark is Steamboat Willie.
Right.
So like anything Steamboat Willie is passable, but you start going into like Mickey Mouse outside of it, or like using the mouse ears and stuff like that. Like they have a patent on the mouse ears.
Yeah. The hidden Mickey is a very much like
yes, the Mickey silhouette is the patent there. And that is what they use for everything. And then the trademark is the Steamboat Willie IP or the Mickey Mouse name specifically, and stuff like that. Or with Winnie the Pooh, Disney doesn't own Winnie the Pooh anymore, but they own Winnie the Pooh with a red shirt.
Right.
And that's the difference
there's specific
between there, where that's the I don't know trademark. There is a major difference there, but there's ways that you go about protecting them. And Nintendo is the most notorious, of course, of like protecting their IP. Of like, they have a whole the American Nintendo office was built just to house lawyers to sue people for trademarks.
Right. In America. Just alone. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where they're based out of, but I think they do like most of the dirty work everywhere.
Oh, word.
But because the internet, it's become even more easier, and like everybody has a mouthpiece for it too. So like, I mean, just this year, we can look up Nintendo lawsuits. I bet Nintendo sued somebody last month.
Power World, at least.
Oh, for sure. But
watching that.
Because that's still going through right now.
Yeah, that'll never end.
3 weeks ago, Power World had to remove game features because of the Nintendo lawsuit. Switch 2 accessory maker response to the Nintendo lawsuit. You remember the company at the convention was like, yeah, we just have the Switch 2 case here. Nintendo's delaying the Switch 2 for so long, but like we already have this shit made, so like we're bringing it out.
Right.
And that was like 2 months before they did the Nintendo Direct.
The reveal, yeah.
Yeah. So now Nintendo is suing them.
For like kind of...
For...
Basically revealing ahead of time?
Yeah. For using unofficial Switch 2 mock-ups.
Oh.
And then... Nintendo suing man in Call... This is from November 12th, 2024. So we might have talked about this back then. Nintendo is suing a man for millions of dollars over alleged copyright infringement. According to a lawsuit filed on November 6th, Nintendo believes Jesse Keene streamed pirated video games on platforms like YouTube, Discord, and Twitch and TikTok under the name Every Game Guru. So basically, he's just playing emulated games, and they're suing him. Nintendo is seeking $150,000 for the incident.
That's crazy.
I don't know if they won. Let's see. Oh, now it's put an ad in front of it, so I can't get back to it.
If I was that big of a company, I don't think... Like, I would just sue, but I would just be like... I wouldn't sue, I would send a letter.
They do.
And be like... I'm gonna sue you.
Yeah, that's called a cease and desist.
Right.
Yeah, they do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I thought they just jumped right into it. It's like, no, you're getting sued.
Sometimes it is. I mean, it depends on the incident. Where like pirating games is illegal, right?
Yeah.
Emulation is not the illegal thing because technically dumping your own ROMs and stuff like that is still legally gray.
Yeah.
Where like if you own the game, you technically can do all of it, but do you own the game or do you own the license to the game? That's all in like the code. Where like also like modding is a gray area as well, where like technically modding is illegal because the patent is the code of the game and you're fucking with the code of the game to mod something.
Yeah.
So technically that's, if you were to be like, oh, I mean, even repackaging the game would be illegal, but like, there's not really there's with software, I guess there's not really another legal way. But if you were to be like, hey, here's a free version of this game that I'm paying for every time somebody plays it.
Yeah.
That would be like the legal way, I guess, like a library almost.
Yeah.
But even then, libraries are having trouble with digital games as well. But once you start like fucking with the code specifically, that's where it becomes illegal, and that will give them the difference to be like, hey, that's a no-go, we're suing your ass kind of thing. Versus like their cease and desist usually are like Smash Bros tournaments and stuff like that.
Right. I don't know. I think no matter what, I'd always just send a letter first. Just being like, hey, I've seen you. I know what you're doing. You know what I can do. Stop it. And then I'd send them a nice, big stuffed Mario doll or whatever and call it a day. If I was a multi-billion-dollar company, I would not be mean, Right. Like I'd be like, listen, no. Here's a little plushie. You better stop. And then, if they keep doing it, then you double down. And you get twice as mean.
This hasn't happened in a while, I guess. So maybe they've backed off from it for now. Or maybe just the Smash Bros. Community has been so tainted at this point that there's just not a lot of it anymore. But
what about the people that do Mario Kart Party tournaments? Same thing. Because I literally just watched. There's one going on in like a movie theater, and they like rent out a whole theater, and you do like a tournament and stuff.
Right.
And it's like they're gonna get sued, maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like no shit. Like,
that's crazy. I wonder who would take the blame, the movie theater or the people who organized.
People hosting it. I mean, it's probably on everybody.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the people hosting it, because you can rent out a movie theater to do whatever in.
That's crazy.
But this is from 2022. Organizers of the Smash World Tour have announced 2022 Championship Tournament and its 2023 series of events have been canceled following a notice from Nintendo telling them they can no longer operate their tournament. Also, with the Smash community at this time, what was happening is a lot of these dudes were getting fucking got for, like, pedophilia and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like, talking to minors and stuff like that. Yeah.
Jeez.
It is with an unbelievably heavy heart that we must announce that both the upcoming Smash World Tour Championships as well as the 2023 Smash World Tour must be canceled. Without any warning, we received notice that the night before Thanksgiving from Nintendo that we can no longer operate. This was especially shocking given our discourse with Nintendo the past 12 months. Since then, we have been working around the clock to take the proper steps logistically, as well as to prepare the statement with proper legal guidance.
So it seems like they were cool at first.
Yeah, but I wonder...
But yeah, the accusational stuff might have been like, whoa, this will get them.
Right. Here's this part of the article, which would give it a little bit clearer. Nintendo has a known history of butting heads with third-party Super Smash Bros. Events and tournaments. Nintendo has shut down a Super Smash Bros. Tournament in 2020 for using online mods, and famously, Nintendo tried to shut down a Super Smash Bros. Melee from taking place at EVO. I was gonna say that's a weird way to say tournament. From shutting down specifically the Super Smash Bros. Melee side of EVO. This was following a community-driven donation drive where the winner would pick a game and enter in EVO, which Super Smash Bros. Won. Last year, Nintendo seemed to be making inroads into the competitive Smash Bros. Competitive scene by announcing officially licensed tournaments. Which is usually the Nintendo way. However, the organizers of the Smash World Tour have alleged this very relationship may have impacted the tournament's closure. So basically, I mean, they kind of did that with YouTube as well, back in the day, where, like, when Let's Players were getting popular and stuff like that, Nintendo was like, hey, if you want to stream our games...
Right.
You gotta be on our list, and you can only do these games, and then you gotta give us 15%.
Right.
Same kind of things happening here, where they're like, we have a way for you to go through our channels to hold those tournaments, and if it's in an unsavory way, we will come after you. Usually that unsavory way is prize money. And if there's any money on the line, they want a cut of it. If they're making any money at the door, they want a cut of it. Like, that's Nintendo's way. I mean, that's kind of the Japanese way of, like, if you work on something, you should get paid for it. And that goes for licensing something. I mean, music licensing in Japan is fucking bad shit. Like, I mean, that's why we don't get a lot of, like, old RPGs, is because the music licensing in those games are just fucking asinine.
Right.
Dragon Quest is, like, the biggest example of that, where the theme of Dragon Quest, the dude is, like, insane with that theme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But same thing with Persona. Persona has a lot of licensed shit, too, where, like, they have... sound effects in Persona that are licensed.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and people get got on, like, the sound of, like, a punch or something like that.
Wow.
And
that's super funny.
Yeah, so dumb. Atlas was real bad about that back in the day, too. I mean, Japan's always been, like, really slow with the internet. For how technology-driven they are, like, catching on to, like, PC gaming and, like, the internet and mods and all that stuff has taken them a long time to get acclimated to that. The Yakuza games were another series of games that took a long time. including the spin-off they did, Lost Judgment.
Yeah.
Where, like, all those games have, like, real actors in them and stuff like that. And, like, I mean, like, you start modding real people and you can kind of make them do whatever you want and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the idea behind it, but really it's like, they just don't want you fucking with their game. But, yeah, I mean, if you have a game with fucking the hottest supermodel ever, the first thing that's gonna come from it is a nude mod.
Right.
That's just the internet.
Yep.
Stellar Blade is coming to PC in like 2 weeks, dude. Fucking get ready.
Those 3D models are gonna be everywhere.
Right, and that's based off a real chick too.
Yeah.
She's a real model as well. I know everybody forgets that, but I could only imagine what she thinks about that.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of power she has over that.
Right, and I think Stellar Blade's South Korean. I don't think they're Japanese, but still, same thing. Where like the idea of PC gaming and like modding and stuff like that's the first thing that people are thinking about with that game is like what kind of mods are. There's already like a semi-nude suit in that game. Like,
yeah,
it's only a matter of time. But as of what I've been playing, that was all I've been playing. As of news, I don't really know if I have any other news. Oh, we're gonna talk about the Elden Ring Nightreign.
Nightreign.
Go over those reviews real quick. Elden Ring I just put Elden review. That's not a thing. Do you want an Elder review?
A review of Elders?
Yeah. That's why I typed in that first.
I would love to hear a review on someone's point of view on Elderly.
I'm gonna start using OpenCritic now, because Metacritic's been fucking garbage. And their fandom. I know Valnet is just as bad but fandom after what they did to Giant Bomb can die in a hole.
Yeah.
This is higher than what I thought. I thought the discourse was kind of low on this, but Elden Ring Nightreign sitting on a top critic average of 80% on Metacritic, or 80. Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5. Fextra Life gave it an 8.7 out of 10. PC Gamer gave it an 80 out of 100. IGN with the lowest score giving it a 7 out of 10. GameRant a 9 out of 10. The Gamer a 4.5 out of 5. GameSpot 9 out of 10. And VG 24/7 with a 5 out of 5. See if I can get into one of these reviews real quick. One of these headline quotes. This is from Mitchell Salzman from IGN. This is a 7 out of 10. Elden Ring Nightreign is a weird one. It takes the foundation of one of the best open-world RPGs of the generation and turns it into not just a roguelike where death is even more of a big deal, but a 3-person co-op fused roguelike, and in many ways that strange experimental concoction is a success. Under the right condition, Nightreign's 45-ish minute runs are positively thrilling. They are packed with surprising encounters, challenging decisions, satisfying opportunities for teamwork, and some of the best boss battles From Software has ever came up with, and that's a very high bar. The big problem is, however, is that those right conditions are far more difficult to create and have a consistent... Oh, no, I skipped a sentence there. Far more difficult to create than they should be. You really need to have a consistent squad of Similarly. That's a weird word written out. Similarly, skilled players that are able to devote hours of their time in order to see what makes Nightreign special. And when you don't, the flaws of its design are magnified tenfold. There's excellence in this Elden Ring spinoff, but its excellence is just a little bit tarnished. Shoot.
Got him.
Let's see where... let's get what's caveat out of the way. If you are hoping to tackle Nightreign entirely solo, like me, and are anything less than a hardcore Elden Ring player that actively seeks out ways to make the already difficult game even more challenging, Nightreign isn't for you. Yes, there's technically a single-player option, but it's poorly balanced, and I would be shocked if it isn't patched and adjusted within its first month of release. I've heard a lot of that, specifically, of how unbalanced the game is. That even with a solid squad of people, is that the game is pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
And it's because of them trying to make one of these boss fights for 3 people and then not being able to fully get it right.
Yeah.
It seems like they got it right for the most part. A lot of people are pretty happy. Elden Ring says, PC Gamer says, in the fight against Elden Ring, Nightrein's riff on Mothra, I have never expected it would eventually touch down and amount ahead of its partner. That's not a quote. There's nothing like fighting a boss in a From Software game that is designed to be a joke with you as the punchline, and defying fate with your own ridiculous strategy. Elden Ring Nightreign is a game about losing a fistfight over and over until you luck or strategize your way into an opportunity and bring 3 guns. The harder you've been hit, the more glorious the payback, and Nightreign is a merciless bully. Even if you play an Elden Ring, Nightreign will surprise you. Imagine the lands between as a stadium filled with familiar monsters and a team of 3 players as its contestants. It is an action RPG as a sport cranked up to 2 times speed. This review sucks. PC Gamer, get a better review. What the fuck? Let me go back to
You don't like similes?
No, I just wanted a fucking quote, and he's talking to... He's like, dude, just talk about the game. Elden Ring Nightreign is just as confusing and abrasive as From Software's other games, but there's really nothing else like it. That's the pull quote from the article. Why isn't the rest of the article like that? You talk about, it's a merciless bully punching you in the face. What? Alright, dude. Alright. Shit. What else? I mean, that's it. People are really high on it. I'm surprised. I mean, it just seems a little unbalanced. So I probably won't jump into it right away, which is what I was hoping to do. I was hoping to be like, yeah, after this, I'm going to be playing Nightreign.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's the case.
I mean, I would either way, if you're able to.
I can still jump into it for sure, but if it's not fun to play now, then
right.
It's going to taint the rest of the experience later.
You don't think it'll feel better being able to feel the improvements? Because if you don't know how it felt before,
right,
how will you know that it feels better?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess hearing other people say it feels better, but
right. I have such low patience for bad games that I mean, like, I love playing bad games, don't get me wrong, but like when I'm done with a bad game, I'm never gonna touch that bad game again.
Yeah.
So if I just I mean, like, Elden Ring, of course, everybody's giving it the praise, of course, but, like, if it's not up to my liking, that's what I'm going to think about the rest of the time.
Right.
And I've never been able to get over that. It's something, it's all live service games have had this problem, from, like, Overwatch launch to, fucking Destiny to, Apex is another one. Apex launched pretty well, actually, so that one was okay. But, like, a lot of these games that launched badly or poorly balanced or whatever, they leave such a sour taste in my mouth. I'm like, I gave it the shot at launch, and
right.
I did the thing, but, like, I'm gonna need to go back.
I kind of want to play Apex now. Wow, I haven't played that game in so long.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on in that game anymore.
I see Tyron play it all the time.
Really?
He's the one. I have 2 friends on PlayStation, and it's my buddy Evan and Tyron. And Tyron's on Apex all the time. I think he's like level 600 something.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's like stupid. The last time I saw him in person, which was like 2 years ago, he was like level 480. So I could only imagine now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he plays that game nonstop. That is his game. But then my buddy Evan's the complete opposite, where he plays everything. And I'm like, oh, dude, you're playing fucking 7 games that I didn't even think about this week. No, he's the kind of guy who's doing both Oblivion and Clair Obscura, and
oh wow,
yeah,
like,
I can only do one now.
Who has that much time? That's crazy. Right?
Yeah, and work full time. I think he's going to school for game design too.
Wow. Well, I guess maybe then that's probably part of that might be for school. There probably is some like researching involved.
For sure.
You know.
But he's always been like that too.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah. Or like me, I beat games really fast, but I can only play one game at a time. It's really hard. The show is a little bit different, but even then, it's really hard for me to keep bouncing back and forth. I need to like hyper focus on one, and then I get really mad when I beat something in like 2 days, and then I'm like, well, it's all you did for 2 days. Like Armored Core, I love fucking Armored Core, but I beat that game in like 3 days. Then it was done. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that does suck.
Yeah.
I hate it when it's shorter than it seems. It's
right, Lies of P as well. Lies of P was another game I was like, I'm gonna get through it, and it was like less than a week. I was through it. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Damn. But that's soon. Lies of P Overture, I think, got a date. Let me check real quick. Pretty sure that has a date. Overture. Dap. Maybe not. Date. Oh, nope. Summer 2025. I mean, honestly, that's probably something we'll see next week.
Mm.
That will probably be at Game Fest.
Yeah, probably.
That's a mid-budget game that I would see at Game Fest. But they showed Overture at a state of play last time. I think Lies of P, the original, was showed off at an Xbox event as well.
Mm.
So I don't know.
I
don't know. Next week is Summer Games Fest, though. We didn't really get into predictions or anything like that. It's kind of like what I wanted to do this episode, except we're already like an hour, 40 minutes in, so we don't really have to go do that right now. But do you have any idea of what you want there? Even Xbox, or ideally we get another Nintendo event around that time. You'd think with the launch of the Switch, we might have something happening.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably get like a solid, here's a bunch of Switch 2 games type thing.
Hey, here's your next 6 months, right?
Yeah, maybe there'll be some sort of, further explanation on the Switch or whatever. They'll release the mini game for free or whatever.
Right. Yeah, the world tour.
Right.
Or welcome tour.
The museum thing.
Oh yeah. That's $7, I think, or $10.
No, I think it was more than that.
I think it was 10.
Really? I thought it was like 14.
Maybe. Welcome tour. Nintendo. I believe it. $9.99.
Okay.
It is $9.99.
So 10. Yeah.
Still.
That's
$7.99 Europe.
Astrobot was free.
Astrobot was free.
And it's literally that and a whole game.
It was free, yeah. I haven't played that, dude. Maybe I should play that. Playroom was sick.
I haven't
played it yet.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. But that was free.
Right.
And it's literally all of that.
It's all of that.
And a minigame with characters and shit. Like, it's like, you don't...
Yeah,
you can't produce something less than something else and then be like, pay for it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
I mean, even the idea of packing games being dead, like, sure. But then it's like, what's even the point of developing it? Mm-hmm. You know? Like, this is ideal. This is what should be the manual for the console.
100%. It should be like, when you turn it on, that should just be that should be the introduction.
Right.
You know, and it could be
what it dumps you into.
Right, yeah. And you can optionally just skip it if you want until you've completed it, and then it just becomes like an icon or whatever. 100%. But like, no, a whole last, like, no, I don't need to, because I truthfully, especially if it's just information without the mini game aspect, I don't care, to be honest. I'll just read.
But it does have mini games in it, so like, if you're making me pay money, is how much robustness is the mini games? Because like, it had the mini golf game in it. It had like
oh, did it? See, I don't remember that. All I can remember is the museum aspect.
Yeah.
But even then.
Yeah, because it had the mouse control game, like the weird mouse control things to like mini golf. So like you could like make the. Oh,
I do remember that. I didn't realize that was a part of that though.
Yeah.
Well, either way.
It was like a little. You go up to the little stand and it's like, here's mouse controls. Would you like to play golf game?
And they okay.
Yeah.
But still, even that's still like lower tier than
Super
Astrobot. You know.
Right, because like
because even the characters are like little me characters or whatever.
Because even if it's 300 levels in mini golf, like that's a $1 phone game. You know?
I'll go play Thrillville on my PlayStation 2.
I'll go play Desert Golf on my phone.
Yeah, I'll play that Golf with Friends game that's free on Xbox right now.
Play Dark Cloud 2. I've been craving Dark Cloud so much, and then I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, it's a roguelike. Weird.
What's that?
Dark Cloud is the game. It's a old PS2 RPG where you play as a kid going through dungeons and you collect things in the dungeons to bring it back to town to help build the town.
Oh,
those dungeons turn into mini golf.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I do. Okay. I remember
specifically
this.
Dark Cloud 2 is like that.
Dark Cloud.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah.
But I do remember that.
I think in Europe it's called, the second one's in Europe's called Dark Chronicle, but Dark Cloud 2 is the one with the mini golf in it. But the dungeons are a roguelike. Like everything outside of the dungeons is like a traditional RPG, but the dungeons are randomly generated. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense on why it would be a mini golf course after. It was like, oh, it's just a random seed, and every time you play these dungeons, it's randomized, so you get a new mini golf course out of it. And I think
that's pretty cool. I reckon, yeah, that'd be neat.
It's very weird for a PS2 game.
Yeah,
they're both on PS5, so it's like I think $10 for both of them.
Did you ever see that one horror mini game where it's like you're like playing mini golf, but there's like this guy chasing you?
No.
You're like on a mini golf course, but there's like this creepy thing chasing you around, so you have to like complete the course. I mean, the courses are more than like they get convoluted and like you're in the back of a warehouse and it's dark and shit. But yeah, like so like as you progress, you know, there's obstacles that block the boss or whatever, and you have to navigate differently and stuff like that. But it's like
mini golf horror game.
I can't remember who I was watching play it. It must have been Game Grumps or Markiplier or
Gone Golfing. Is that what it's called?
Something. I don't remember, to be honest. It's just like a mini golf.
There's Gone Golfing and
horror game.
Cut Down and
hey,
what up?
Greener Grass Awaits. That's an Itch.io game, so it's probably not that.
Could be any of them. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm just looking at different wiki things.
I was just going to see if maybe the art.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at.
Oh, it's just
I was looking at. Yeah, Reddit.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the name. Gone Golfing could be it though.
Oh, this is
It's a cool little vape.
Mr. Golfy.
Yeah, it's the snail.
Yeah, it looks like a snail.
No.
I love it because this is just you just pop it off, get a new one.
At first, I thought it was like a
racial
one of those
obscenities.
big stringy thingies.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Peace out. Mr. Golfy look familiar?
That might be it. I think so. Yeah, I think he chases you around while you're trying to smack the balls into the. It starts off really simple with like basic mini golf courses, you know,
right.
And then you like, as you progress, you like end up in a warehouse and you're like hitting balls between, you know, tall shelves of shit and whatever, and but he's constantly chasing you the whole time,
right?
Do different stuff, and yeah, I think it's a short game. I don't think it's like crazy long, but I can't remember who I was watching play. But that just reminded me of it. The dungeon.
Oh, this game looks cool too. This is just twisted golf for twisted gamers. For what
Twisted
year did this
Gamer.
come out? 1998.
Whoa.
It's called Slice and Hook: The Haunted Miniature Golf.
Whoa. All right.
The
Is it just like?
CD-ROM game.
Oh, it's just like creepy themed mini golf. Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I've played that.
It looks like from an I Spy book almost.
I've had a lot of random PC games.
Oh
given to
yeah,
me
it's so
when I was a
many
kid.
shitty-
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we buy a PC game, it's $3, and it's like the Nancy Drew collection or whatever.
Yeah. Anything to
Yeah.
get me locked into a room.
Right.
My family would be like, "Oh, you'll sit at the computer all day?
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
Keep doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to go outside and get hurt.
We don't have to take care." Yeah. Yeah. Here, make sure you drink water. Yeah.
But that's all I have for news and everything like that. The Last of Us 2 reviews, the season 2 reviews are middling. That's what you need to know is
I think
they're pretty middle of the road.
I haven't seen the show, but I also haven't played the games. So at least not in their entirety. I've played like bits and pieces, but not enough to understand any of it. Like they have an attachment to any of the characters or anything.
As somebody who likes games, play the games versus watch.
I've heard the games are great, and I would love to play them one day. I mean, they're one of those games where like everything's already kind of predetermined, so it's a story game. So it's like, it's not like completely open world.
For sure, yes.
You know, there's certain paths.
Right, but there is a difference. It's a survival horror game.
Yeah.
And you can kind of play that way.
Yeah.
You could be full out guns blazing shit, or you could play on grounded mode, I think is what it's called.
Right.
And that's like one shot killed, like you're done kind of stuff. Play stealthy, try to walk around without being noticed kind of thing.
Word. I just felt like it was gonna feel like Resident Evil.
Maybe the first
Not that
one.
I have a problem with Resident Evil, but like...
Yeah. The first one, maybe a little bit more. The second
then.
one has an open zone
Yeah.
mentality where it's like hallways into big areas that you can kind of explore, and then it'll funnel you back in for a minute and then span you back out.
Yeah.
It has a lot of that versus like Last of Us 1 has a little bit more. You're going to a specific place, so you're trying to stay on track, kind of thing. Last of Us 2, it's the same idea, but you're like, I know these people are in this specific place, but like I don't know where that specific place is. So we're kind of like just making our way this way as we can. And
until
who knows
we
if
hit
they're
it.
even there if we get there, kind of thing. Versus Last of Us 1 is very much, we gotta get to this place at no matter what cost, so we can try to save the world, kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely want to play them. I think I have one of them on the PlayStation, because I think Kenya's playing... She might be playing the second one.
Yeah.
Because I think she beat the first one, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's definitely on a list.
I would say, I mean, like, they just remastered both of them.
Yeah.
Which I think they're fine. I think the originals are fine. They're very expensive, so I don't know if it's worth getting the remasters versus just going and get the $20 PS4 copy.
Yeah, for sure.
Is what I would do, and then Last of Us 2 might be a little bit more expensive, but the PS4 copy is definitely going to be cheaper than the $70 PS5.
Oh, I have one of them, for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one, but I'll play that one and then...
Yeah. Last of Us 1 does have a DLC. It's called The Last of Us Left Behind. It's kind of a prequel DLC. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of action in the prequel. It's very much a story, like Ellie before everything happened kind of thing.
Oh, yeah, because there wasn't zombies.
Right, so Ellie was born in the apocalypse, so, like...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know whose names anyone is.
Right.
That's the other reason why I haven't watched the show, because it's supposed to be very close to the game story.
Yes.
Where, like, the Fallout show
is its own thing.
Right. So
Right.
that's why I was like, oh, I'll watch this. I'm not going to actually ruin it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing with the show, is that, especially with the second season, if they're, like, missing the mark on it, is that the second game is really good.
Yeah.
And whatever people online have said about what they feel about the story is their own prerogative. But if you're a normal person and not some racist bigot or whatever,
right,
the game's really fucking good. So it is a bummer that they missed the mark, but it also seems like they intentionally shortened the story to make the third season.
Yeah. And
that kind of sucks. The second game is longer, but it's not like it's so much longer that you need 3 seasons or 2 seasons worth of television out of it. I think they could have probably gotten the second game done in a second season.
Yeah.
But I know that in the first season as well, there's enough of a difference that it's... I mean, if you're into The Last of Us, it's cool to, like, figure out where characters are kind of thing, or, like, learn some backstory, but,
right.
like, they do change a lot of things, and I don't know if it's for the better or not, you know? That first game is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
I would say it might even... Story-wise, it might be better than the second one. I think the second one might end a little bit flat versus the first one has a very punctual ending.
Mm-hmm.
That left a lot of people in a very specific state of mind, and maybe that's the reason why people got so mad at the second one, especially when everything from the story leaked before people could actually see it in context. But also people are fucking belligerent, so it's also one of those things where, like, it leaked, but also, like, people are just running with it. Once you get there, you'll know what I mean. Eventually. Right. Eventually, you'll be like, oh, this is the thing that everybody got spoiled on. And if you don't know, you don't know, so I'm not going to tell you. So... but those games are really good. Those games are worth playing, for sure. And they're not long. They are longer, but I think the first one was maybe 20 hours for the main game of the DLC, and the second one's like probably 25 hours altogether.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. I could beat that in a week.
Yeah, and they did add like a roguelike mode to the second one too, where it's like zombie horde kind of thing. The first one had the multiplayer mode that eventually they were trying to spin off into that Last of Us Factions game.
Yeah.
And then that got canceled or whatever pretty recently too. But people really like that multiplayer mode as well. I remember that was like in the back of the day where everything had multiplayer modes and nothing was a live service game yet.
Yeah.
So it was like just another weird thing that people were playing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of miss the days of that. Like everything had a weird multiplayer mode that was very specific to that game.
Yeah.
And it was like you'd find 100 people at any given game just playing whatever. Like Assassin's Creed multiplayer or Uncharted had a weird multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
The Tomb Raider game had a weird multiplayer mode as well. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The Darkness on 360. Like,
yeah.
Skate 3 is another... I mean, Skate 3 is a little bit bigger still, but, like, that game lived on because of multiplayer. Yeah. Yeah, Last of Us is cool. I wish this show was as cool. It doesn't seem like it is as cool. So
yeah, it seemed like the first season went well, and then they just, like...
They missed the mark.
I think they should have just stuck with the first game.
Yeah. Well, where the first game ends is very much not the end of the story. And
okay.
And you can feel it.
Well,
yeah.
then I don't know. I don't have to play them to understand, I guess. But
right. The first, it's weird because the first game ends at a very specific punctual point. That's very much the end of that journey.
Mm-hmm.
But the characters have a life after. So like, Blasphemous 2 is like 10 years later or something like that.
So I mean, you could have still stopped after the first one and just been like, that's that.
Yeah.
You probably could have even made the first one just a movie.
Right. And I think the idea is that the second game starts so hard.
Yeah.
Like, it hits the ground running in such a big moment that it would have been a disservice to the people who have played that first game to not have that, at least the beginning hour of the second game. Because that is a specific endpoint for a character. And I don't know if... It's also weird that it's not the beginning of the second season either, though. So, from what I understand, is like that's like multiple episodes in is when that point kicks off, and that's also weird. Where like they should have just started the second
timed
season
it the
from
same
the second
way.
game.
Right.
Yeah. But that like with the first season, they wanted to focus on like they did a whole episode on like a couple of side characters that have a relationship together that is nowhere in the game.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
They were making a little more. They're trying to add some depth.
Right. And Neil Druckmann is involved in all of it. So he's kind of like... I mean, I do give the benefit of the doubt because it's still his story to tell and he's kind of still telling it. But, you know,
right.
we had a good thing over here. And if it's like you change a 9 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10 because of the medium, I'm not... I'd rather fuck with the 9 out of 10.
Right, especially because I feel like you could do even more with TV stuff.
Right, and that's the plan, right? It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a season 3, but like we're gonna shortchange season 2 because of it, and that sucks.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's also like now seasons of television are 10 episodes versus like 10 or 12 years ago they were 24 episodes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, fuck, if you get a 10 episode season, like Black Mirror is what, 6 episodes like a season or something like that. British television's always been like 3 episode seasons or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, so it I don't know, they definitely could have done more with both seasons, and they could have probably done less with the first season too, and it would have been, they could have probably trimmed that whole episode out, which I know people have a very strong feeling towards that episode positively, because it's a character about a gay, it's a gay couple, and it's like their story about it, and their main characters in the game,
right? But
they don't have like this whole side story, like lore background building kind of thing,
right?
That was Neil Druckmann adding that after the fact.
Yeah, he's creating
more lore backstory where it was more of like, I mean, like, you knew that they were a couple and stuff like that, but like you didn't know what their life was like before the outbreak,
right?
Which is what that episode focuses on, you know.
Yeah.
It's a very strange choice to be like, yeah, we're gonna sidestep over here to do this weird ass thing, versus like, especially again, the first story is such a keep moving on through. It's weird to be like, we're gonna take a minute to go smell some grass.
The peaceful stuff, yeah.
Yeah. The second game's a lot more dire, I would say. There is some levity in both games. The second game feels a lot more dire.
Yeah.
The first game has a little bit more of a first adventure quality, because Ellie is like 13 in the game or whatever,
right.
and she's like, she still has that kid energy and like curiosity about the world, versus like in the second game she's like a jaded 20-year-old and like has watched everybody around her that she loves die and stuff like she's been through some shit in the second game, and
right.
Yeah. But both games are really good. Yeah, it was a good feeling game. I just think about that combat, and I'm like, I want to play, like, their other games, like Uncharted and stuff like that right now. And I know they just don't feel as good as what Last of Us Part 2 does.
Yeah.
And that's a very good feeling game. But I just got to get over that. It's like, of course it's not going to feel as good, because those games came out fucking 10 years before that game.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know. But I want to play through Uncharted, because I never played 4. I've only played...
Wow.
I've played part of 1. I've played the majority of 2. I think I've played 3. I don't remember. 2 and 3 blend together quite a bit. One of them has a train, and one of them has an airplane. And they both kind of do the same thing, where, like, the airplane's hanging off the side of a cliff, and he has to like climb the way through, and train's hanging off the side of the cliff, and he's got to climb his way up.
Yeah.
They both have that moment. I don't remember which one's which. I think the second one's the train. And then the fourth one's like the PS4 like big launch game that they did, or maybe it wasn't a launch game, but it was the midlife like big Uncharted. It was like one of their big PS4 games that they were like tent-poling for a while.
Yeah.
That we should have probably watched like an old E3 or something like that. That would have been fun. Maybe if we have a day before everything goes down this weekend, we can do that. But that's really what next week is going to be focused on, is what all of the events next week. Anything else though? Anything else you want to jump to, or anything you have in mind before I do call this an episode? I don't have anything else.
Huh?
No more news or anything.
I don't think so.
I mean, we can talk about whatever all day, but
not really. I mean, I talked about the Blasphemous stuff. That's pretty much all I've done.
Yeah.
As far as gaming.
And we got like an hour of Blasphemous talk too.
Yeah.
It's good. Good shit. Hell yeah.
Good.
We'll call it an episode there. Next week is Summer Games Fest and Xbox. Patrick and I will figure out on how we want to record that, because we both work those days. I think Sunday is Xbox, which is the 8th. So I am off Sunday, but Thursday is Summer Game Fest, I believe. And, you're off Thursday. So that might work out a little bit better. But I do work Thursday night. I have off like Tuesday or something, which sucks ass. But
Word.
Yeah. Yeah, that will be June 7th. June 5th? Is it June 5th? Maybe it's June 5th. That is Summer Games Fest. We'll do a reaction video to that. That will be coming out. That will be what's taking place of the podcast. And then Sunday, we'll be back at it again to record Xbox. We'll see where Patrick's at, because I'm sure Patrick has a lot to do on Sunday.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's usually... you have off from school this week, so... Well, that's next week. That's next Sunday, so... You might have some schoolwork to turn in that day. So we'll see. We'll see. That's the 8th.
Oh, I'm looking at the May. Yeah, pretty free next week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just school.
Yeah, just school. No shows or anything. So that's good.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good.
So
It'll be a fun time. I always like doing them. Even if I think this might be a disappointing year.
Yeah.
We didn't get any predictions or anything like that, but I think we're getting in the weeds of like, at least Summer Game Fest wise, I don't think this will be a good year for it. It just doesn't seem like there's a lot of rumblings right now of like what's the future of the game, of what game's coming out. I don't know. There's just a lot unannounced. There's definitely a lot of stuff that is announced that hasn't came out yet, like Silk Song and stuff like that, but
yeah,
I doubt we're seeing Silk Song at Summer Game Fest. That would be like at Xbox. That might be at Xbox, but Xbox's Fable will probably be there. Gears of War E-Day will still be there probably. Tony Hawk comes out a month from then, so we'll probably see another Tony Hawk level. Yeah, maybe the new Forza Horizon 6, presumably. And then maybe they had that Contraband game that they announced a while ago. That's still only a teaser that they showed.
Yeah.
We still don't know really what that is. It's like a co-op smuggling, like, heist game thing.
Yeah, maybe they'll give us more info.
Yeah, we don't even know if it's co-op. We just presumed it was co-op because it's like a group of ragtags, like, but it's all like, it was just a trailer shot of a garage kind of thing with like Polaroids all over the garage. And there was like a dune buggy in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But that's made by Avalanche Studios, which also they did Just Cause. They're the Just Cause team.
Yeah.
And then they also did they helped with Bethesda on the Rage games.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. But that's typically a Square Enix studio. So it's interesting. It's interesting. Xbox also has Square Enix teams working on Perfect Dark. We still don't know what Perfect Dark is.
Right.
We saw like a little bit of gameplay last year. Was that last year? It's the last Xbox thing like this. But we saw like 5 minutes of gameplay. And then it's been radio silence. So Perfect Dark, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. That studio is weird. That's their quadruple A studio, The Initiative, and I think a lot of people have left that studio.
Yeah.
Which is probably why they have Crystal Dynamics, I think, is the team helping on that game, and it seems like they've just completely taken over development because a lot of the original Initiative team has left.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, we'll get some real predictions and like right before the event, and have some time to think about some ideas, and maybe who knows whatever leaks over the next week.
Right. Yeah. Probably a few things. I'm sure.
I'm sure something big will leak over the next week.
We'll probably get a leak today just because we had this podcast.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I didn't even check like Twitter or anything like that. I mean, the big thing that kind of leaked this week was that a voice actor from Persona 4 was like, hey, I haven't been asked to return to the remake yet. That's kind of weird. And people were like, they're remaking Persona 4? So that happened this week.
Yeah, that's kind of like a...
yeah, other than that, nothing yet. EA Sports College Football 2026 trailer highlights. So they announced College Football 2026.
Nice.
Which makes sense. That's usually August.
Yeah.
Yeah. Football's usually August. Anyways, Patrick does have schoolwork. I have to go do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to go get food.
Yeah.
I need to go to the bank and get rent. Today's rent day.
I do got to do that soon, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to do it on the Thursday that I get paid, so I just get rid of it. It's like, I don't need this sitting here. I don't need this in my account. I just need it gone.
Yeah. I feel that.
Yeah. Other than that, because, I mean, if I just have it sitting there, I know it's like, oh, it's rent money, don't touch it. But, like, if it's there, it's like, well, I can always just make that back.
Right.
Like,
That's true, yeah.
Especially when I'm selling Pokemon all the time, I'm like, well, there's always the possibility that I just, like, get $20, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I could just spend $20 now, and I just need to get rent paid and then not have to worry about it. It just needs to be done.
And then you can do that with the extra money.
Right. But yeah. Oh, this isn't news, I guess. But did you see, you're not a Magic cards person, are you? Do you want to get into Magic?
No, it's really too expensive.
It's really expensive. I started getting into Magic, but I don't want to play it. Final Fantasy. Not Advent Children. But over the last couple weeks, they've been showing these off. I think this comes out soon. But they showed a bunch of art this week. Karate Kid. Jackie Chan's so old, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Just let the guy retire.
I don't think he wants to.
Probably not, but
I think he's
let
like
him
still
anyways.
making new pop music in China.
He can do that. Just stop telling him to do kung fu moves.
For this.
I think he still does a lot of those in China too.
Yeah.
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
I mean, I guess if your body's like so trained for it, you could probably do it for a while, but
Right.
eventually you gotta calm down. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool. They've been doing a lot of really crazy, weird collabs.
Yeah.
Collabs with things.
Yeah, I started with Magic. It was they reprinted the Lord of the Rings set recently.
Yeah,
so I
right.
hopped on with that.
Oh, that's cool. They're turning like pixelated things into.
Yeah, so they're doing all of them.
Right. Yeah.
I think only specific ones are getting what are called master decks or whatever, the pre-built decks.
Huh.
But it will be all 16 games,
That's
including
cool.
spin-offs. And then I believe the ones getting commander decks are 6, 7, 10,
Oh, okay.
13, and
That's incredible.
14. Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy any of them, but that's really cool.
It's, I'm so fucking hyped, dude.
That's super cool.
I'm so hyped.
I will not invest at all.
Yeah.
Because you can't buy one. Why would you just buy one?
Well, that's what the decks are for, right? Like if you just want like a Magic Final Fantasy thing, get a battle deck, and then just keep that shit sealed and put it on a.
I want all of them though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they'll have like each one of them. I think like I said, I think each one's focused on a different game.
Yeah.
So they have 6, 7, 10, 13, and 14, I believe, are all of the battle decks. I don't think 16 has one.
No, they flashed all the numbers. I didn't see it.
Yeah, no. I mean that all of them. They were showing all of them. All of them are in the set, but the decks, like where that guy has right there, is 14, 6, 10, and 7 right there. And I think 13 is the only other one that would be getting one.
Oh, word.
People like 13, but in a weird way. 13 is the weirdest one to like, but people like it. The art's really cool. They haven't showed any of like the crazy full arts or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like any of the secret arts, but the Lord of the Rings ones has some pretty fucking cool shit in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Pokemon with their full art cards and secret arts, where like they'll have like the base card and then the full art version's like a completely different art style and like, or even like completely different like, it's just layout.
Yeah.
Let me pull up like Magic Lord of the Rings Gandalf. card. It's like, this is your regular, like, borderless version of the Gandalf card.
Yeah.
Right? It's worth, like, $2. But then this $450 one is, like, an old 80s van.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah. And, like, that they just haven't showed any of that kind of stuff. That's what I'm waiting for with this. For like,
right.
I want a cactar full art and stuff. Like
that.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens. They've been showing 3 months was the reveal, so it's been a bit of time. But it's 7 months. 7 months ago is when they showed it. That's crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, it's been a while, and it's finally coming out, like, within the next, like, couple of weeks. So I'm excited.
Nice.
But you're right. They did Lord of the Rings. They did video game wise. They did Fallout and Assassin's Creed. Are the 2 video games that they've done so far. But the SpongeBob's getting one.
Right.
Spider-Man's getting a set. Final Fantasy. I thought there was another one that got announced pretty recently too. The SpongeBob one looks fucking cool. I want the SpongeBob one too. The SpongeBob one's sick. But yeah, keep a lookout, I guess, for Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy cards. And if I see you in line ready to throw hands, I will also throw hands for cards. So
not me.
If you think I ain't about it, I am. Yeah. Just looking around me, man. I gotta. You gotta get it somehow.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't think
whatever keeps you going.
They can't see how many card decks are around me. They can see like these ones right here, but this is like not even half of what I got right here.
You will one day die by being buried,
drowning them. Yeah, for sure.
Or death by 1,000 paper cuts or something vicious and card related.
I mean, I've never gotten a paper cut from a card. I have accidentally got myself, like, with the scissors, like, cutting cardboard. Ripping out hair from tape, that will happen quite a bit. That happens more. So I tape the packages all the time, and then I'll, like, get the hair on my knuckles or something like that.
I can't.
Ow! Fuck!
I don't...
It's not even like a painful like a paper cut. It's just, it feels like you're getting your knuckle waxed.
Wow.
It's only happened like twice.
I can't. Yeah, I mean, it can only happen so many times. You'll run out of hair.
Right. Well, it grows back.
I don't think I have enough for that to ever happen to me.
No. Yeah. I mean, you only need like one piece of hair for it to be.
Guess. That's true.
For it to be noticeable. You ever try to like tweeze a knuckle hair out?
No.
I got tweezers right here.
I'm good. I believe you.
Yeah. Well, that was a gaming podcast.
It was.
This has been a fun one. We'll be back next week again, like I said, with all of the other things. It won't be on Thursday or Friday whenever this is released. It will be we'll try to get it out on the day of the event, or it's up to me to get to it. I'll try to get it out as fast as possible that day, but if I do work, it might be a little harder to get it up immediately. But we'll see. We'll see you guys next week. It's been fun. It's been real. Peace out. Bye.